فخور أغانينا من لبنانك شفنا خيالك ودعنا الأرز
Laudetur Jesus Christus, praised be Jesus Christ. Hello and welcome to this live broadcast of the farewell ceremony for Pope Leo at the Beirut International Airport. Pope Leo has arrived at the airport. He's just been welcomed by the President of Lebanon, Joseph Aoun, as well as the First Lady, who you can see on his right there. It's Nemat Aoun. My name is Joseph Tolek, and on behalf of Vatican Media, I'd like to welcome you all to this broadcast, whether you're joining us via the various Vatican News channels or whether you're joining us via our official partner radio and television stations, EWTN TV, Catholic Faith Network, Sultan Light TV, Shalom World TV, at Madashin TV or Catholic TV. This is the final event of Pope Leo's trip to Lebanon. He arrived on Sunday and now he's leaving, going back to Rome. It's about lunchtime here in Lebanon. And so the very final event of this trip, which has been a really remarkable trip for a number of different reasons. So the Pope has already met, as I said, with the President of the Lebanese Republic, Joseph Aoun, who is now walking with him through the airport. There'll be an exchange of greetings between their various delegations, a guard of honor for Pope Leo, and then the President and the Holy Father will both give speeches, and then the Pope will get on the papal plane and depart for Rome. So that's the, this looks like we've already got to the Guard of Honor now. There's the soldiers from the Lebanese military who are escorting Pope Leo, the Lebanese President Joseph Aoun, his wife, the First Lady Nemat Aoun. Pope Leo this morning visited the port of Beirut, where of course in 2020 there was that horrific explosion which killed hundreds of people. And after that he then celebrated Mass. According to the Lebanese authorities, there was about 150,000 people there for that Mass in Beirut, and straight after the Mass, he greeted some people. It took quite a while actually, maybe about half an hour. He was greeting various, I think, Lebanese people who've been involved in the organisation of the trip, including some priests, some religious, also some of the civil authorities and so on. And then straight after that he got in the car and drove here to the airport. And he's just now walking with the President toward the podium, where both he and the President are going to give farewell speeches. Pope Leo, I'm not sure if he'll be speaking English or French. He's been speaking both throughout the trip. And similarly we'll see what language President Aoun speaks in. But first it looks like an exchange of national anthems between, or at least the Lebanese national anthem. This is the Holy See's anthem. It's also known as the Pontifical Hymn, or the Pontifical Anthem and March. And it's played in the presence of the Pope or his representatives, such as Apostolic nuncios. You might be able to see there the delegation from the Vatican. There's a number of cardinals who have roles that are somehow to do with the trip. Some other bishops and other Vatican representatives. This is the national anthem of Lebanon, whose English title is all for the country, for glory and the flag. President Ayoun there shaking hands with Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Holy See's Secretary of State. That was the head of Lebanon's Maronite Church, and now various other cardinals. That was Cardinal Kurt Koch, Cardinal Claudio Gugerotti, and that was their Cardinal Kuvakad, who've all been accompanying Pope Leo on this trip. And here are some other officials. That's Archbishop Edgar Peña Parra, Archbishop Paul Richard Gallagher, Archbishop Diego Ravelli. Not all the cardinals travel with Pope Leo on these international trips, but just those whose roles have something to do with the nature of the trip. So there, of course, we had the Vatican Secretary of State, the Vatican's the Cardinal Kurt Koch, for instance, who's responsible for relationships between Christian denominations. Cardinal Claudio Gugerotti, who's the head of the dicastery for the Eastern churches, which of course are very present in Lebanon and also in Turkey, which was the first leg of this trip. And so those tend to be the cardinals that come with Pope Leo on the journeys. And now it looks like Pope Leo is shaking hands with some Lebanese officials. So this is the exchange of greetings with the respective delegations. And as I said, after that we're expecting to hear speeches both from the Lebanese President and from Pope Leo. The journalists who travel with the Pope on the plane are already at the airport. I think they may already be on the plane, and they'll be departing with Pope Leo in just a moment after these speeches. And it'll be the President of Lebanon who gives the first speech. Just exchanging there a few words with Pope Leo, whose speech is being brought to him.
صاحب القداسة نلتقي اليوم.
Your Holiness Pope Leo XIV, we gather today at the end of your visit, a visit that will remain engraved in the memory of Lebanon and its people. Throughout these past few days, you carried words of hope and reassurance to Lebanon as you journeyed across its regions, meeting its people from all faiths and affiliations, who have welcomed you with great love that reflects their enduring longing for peace and stability. Your Holiness, you came to Lebanon bearing a message of peace, calling for reconciliation and affirming that this nation, small in size, great in its message, remains a model of coexistence and of the human values that unite rather than divide. In your words and in your encounters with the sons and the daughters of this country, we felt the depth of your love for Lebanon and its people, and the sincerity of your desire to see it remain a homeland of mission, dialogue, openness, freedom, and dignity for every human being. So thank you, Your Holiness, for listening to us, and thank you for entrusting Lebanon with the message of peace. And I, in turn, would like to convey to you that we have heard your message, and we will continue to embody it. And with our gratitude comes a wish, Your Holiness, a wish that we may always remain in your prayers, and that your sermons to every believer and every leader around the world always affirm that our people are a people of faith who refuse death and refuse departure. A faithful people who have chosen to stand firm in love, peace, and what is right. A faithful people who deserve life, who are worthy of it. As we bid you farewell, we do not only part with an honored guest, but with a father who brought us comfort and reminded us that the world has not forgotten Lebanon, that there are those who pray for it and work for peace. Long live your holiness, long live peace, and long live Lebanon. Those are the words from President Joseph Aoun, the President of Lebanon, and we'll now hear from Pope Leo.
Mr. President, Presidents of Parliament, and the Council of Ministers, your Beatitudes and brothers in the Episcopate, civil and religious authorities, sisters and brothers. Departing is often more difficult than arriving. We have spent time together, and in Lebanon, this spirit of encounter is contagious. Here I have found that people enjoy coming together rather than being isolated. While arriving in your country meant gently entering into your culture, leaving this land means carrying you in my heart. Thus, we are not leaving each other. Rather, having met, we will move forward together. We hope to involve the entire Middle East in this spirit of fraternity and commitment to peace, including those who currently consider themselves enemies. I am grateful, therefore, for the days spent with you, and I am pleased that I could fulfill the desire of my beloved predecessor, Pope Francis, who would have loved to be here.
Apologies, we seem to have lost audio of the Pope's speech. We'll try and bring that back to you as soon as possible.
Who is loved by Christians and Muslims alike. I prayed at the tomb of Saint Charbel and sensed the profound spiritual roots of this country. Your history is a valuable source of nourishment that can sustain you on the difficult journey toward the future. I was deeply moved by my brief visit to the port of Beirut, where an explosion devastated the area, not to mention many lives. I prayed for all the victims, and I carry with me the pain and the thirst for truth and justice of so many families of an entire country. In these few days, I have met many people and shaken many hands, receiving a sense of hope from these encounters. You are strong as the cedars that populate your beautiful mountains, as beautiful as the olive trees that grow in the plains, in the south and near the sea. In this regard, I greet all the regions of Lebanon that I was unable to visit: Tripoli and the north, the Bekaa in the south of the country, Tyro, Sidone, biblical places, all of the areas, especially in the south, that are currently experiencing a state of conflict and uncertainty. And embracing all of you, I express my aspiration for peace, along with a heartfelt appeal. May the attacks and hostilities cease. We must recognize that armed struggle brings no benefit. While weapons are lethal, negotiation, mediation, and dialogue are constructive. Let us all choose peace as a way and not just as a goal. Let us remember what St. John Paul II reaffirmed while in your midst. Lebanon is more than a country. It is a message. Let us learn to work together and hope together so that this may indeed become a reality. May God bless the Lebanese people, all of you, the Middle East, and all humanity. Shukran. Ilaha lika.
And that was Pope Leo's speech. In the end, he said that Shukran ila lika, which means thank you, goodbye, or thank you, see you later. And now Pope Leo, you can see there the ITA Airways plane, this Italy's national carrier, which will be taking him back to Rome for about a 4-hour flight. Apologies, our audio cut out for a moment during the Pope's speech. Perhaps as Pope Leo takes a moment to shake some last hands before he boards the plane, I can just quickly read out the section of the Pope's speech which we missed. The Pope was talking about his predecessor, Pope Francis's desire to visit Lebanon, and he said he would have loved to be here. Then we lost the audio, but what Pope Leo said was, in reality, Pope Francis is with us, walking with us alongside other witnesses to the gospel who await us in God's eternal embrace. We are heirs to what they believed, to the faith, hope, and love that inspired them. I have seen the profound veneration your people have for the Blessed Virgin Mary, who is loved by Christians and Muslims alike. And I think at that point the audio returned and you heard the rest of the Pope's speech. Pope Leo now walking along the red carpet, which will take him to the papal plane. So really in the last moment of his trips, of his trip to Lebanon now. It's about a 4-hour flight, as I said. The Pope will be having lunch on board. It's about 1:30 in the afternoon in Lebanon. The Pope still hasn't had lunch. And of course the other thing that happens during these papal flights is that normally there's an in-flight press conference. So some of the journalists who've been with Pope Leo during these last days, and first in Turkey and now in Lebanon, will be able to ask him questions. And so we're expecting that, and he'll speak probably in a mixture of English and Italian. If you head over to the Vatican News website when the Pope lands in Rome, as I said, in about 4 hours' time, we should, as he arrives or shortly thereafter, have the text, the transcript of that in-flight press conference ready for you. He'll be flying over, obviously, Lebanon, then Cyprus and Greece before arriving in Italy. So it's a flight really across the Mediterranean. And probably are now taking what looks like his last words, speaking to President Aoun. Everyone else, I think, is already on board the flight. So all the journalists, I think about 60 or 70 journalists who've been travelling with him. You can just faintly hear in the background there some of the yuyus, or the ululations, which are typical. It's an expression of joy in Arab countries, particularly Arab women will make that sound as an expression of joy, basically. And we've heard it various times throughout the trip, and including now as Pope Leo prepares to leave. You can see there the Lebanese and Vatican flags on the front of the aeroplane. That's typical for these flights when the Pope departs, to have both the flag of the Vatican and then the flag of the country he's departing from. Pope Leo, for those following via radio, now walking up the steps into the papal plane. Some of the crew there standing to greet him. The Pope turns, waves, one last goodbye to this country that he's been in for the past 2 days or so, and that means clearly so much to him and so much to the Catholic Church as well as the country in the Middle East, this region that Christianity comes from, with the highest percentage of Christians. It's been, as I mentioned, it's been a very powerful visit. The Pope celebrating Mass for about 150,000 people this morning, visiting the site of the Beirut port blast, meeting with young people. Yesterday he gave a wonderful speech to the about 15,000 young people who had joined him in the square just in front of the Maronite Patriarchate in Bukirke. He also met with leaders of other religions in Lebanon. Lebanon famously is home to this wonderful coexistence between so many different religions. The Pope meeting with Sunni, with Shia leaders, with Druze leaders, with Alawite leaders, as well as, of course, the Christian leaders of the various denominations, and so much more. You can find, of course, information about all of this on our website, vaticannews.va. And you can also watch all of these events with English commentary live on our Vatican News English YouTube channel. The door of the papal plane now closing. So that's it. Pope Leo has said his final goodbye to Lebanon, and he'll soon be flying back here to Rome. We heard a very moving goodbye speech from Pope Leo, in which he said, "Departing is often more difficult than arriving. We have spent time together, and in Lebanon this spirit of encounter is contagious. Here I have found that people enjoy coming together rather than being isolated. While arriving in your country means gently entering into your culture, leaving this land means carrying you all in my heart." Very touching words there from Pope Leo. And with that, I think we can bring an end to this live broadcast of Pope Leo's farewell ceremony at the airport in Beirut. I mentioned that you can find more about it on our website. Also, do take a look at our social media, Facebook, Instagram, X and YouTube. Just search Vatican News. And thank you to all of us who joined also via our official radio and television partner stations. I'm Joseph Tulloch. Thank you very much for following our broadcast today. Laudetur Jesus Christus. Praised be Jesus Christ.
ماما أميرة قمر.
بطير لما تطير بدي اشوف الطيارة.